Hi guys, it's me, TONIK TZW, and you may have noticed that I've been absent from World of Warships Legends for a few days because I've had my family staying with me for the back end of last week and over the weekend, and they all eventually returned home on Monday. But it's been a busy few days. I'm quite tired, and I forgot to put some games out on Friday for the weekend to keep you entertained there. So I thought I'd get this one ready for you. We're here in the Tier 5 Premium German Destroyer, the T61. There's a couple of ways you can build this. One is with Eric Beard, Jerzy Swirsky and Den Shi Chang, which gives you some pretty amazing concealment. And the other way that a lot of people like to run the German destroyers, especially the new Z44, is with the Event Commander Blue Furora. And you can run her with Bay and Swirsky as well, with her perk there of Mosquito Brute, which greatly reduces your torpedo reload time, but in doing so it also reduces your torpedo damage, and I think at the level I've got her, it reduces it by something like 40%. So you do get that super smash and reload, but you do a lot less damage, so you're not going to be hitting for dev strikes pretty much unless you land every single torpedo against a ship, and it's not always the case that that happens. But we've got a destroyer heavy game, which seems to be, I don't want to say the meta because it's a bit cliche, but it seems that there's a lot of people out in destroyers at the moment. I've certainly noticed it in the last couple of weeks of gaming, and unfortunately, there's a lot of bad destroyer play, but there's got to be some good destroyer play in this game, and it is titled Vicious Circles, because we are going to be fighting perhaps in a 360-degree battle, perhaps not quite a 360-degree battle, but we are going to have our skill tested against a number of other destroyer players, and we are going to have to fight hard to try and win this one. So I'm pushing in towards our capture point, our start cap. I can see that I've got another destroyer with me. Oh, look, here we go. Here's a Jaguar. So we're going to get onto the guns. The good thing is we know the Jaguar doesn't have smoke. That other destroyer can hopefully keep him spotted. There's a bit of a gun battle, and I did notice there just to the left there is another destroyer pushing in as well. So we have got 2 out of 5 destroyers on this side of the map. Now you'll notice that in this one I am sitting in my smoke screen. You know I don't like to be a dope in a smoke, so we're going to keep a little bit of movement going on here. But our other destroyer has gone out. It was 2v1. I think they were both focusing on him, and the Jaguar has decided to pull in tight behind that island because he's traded most of his hit points. The other destroyer here is a Visby. It looks like they're focusing on the ship behind me. Can't see what it is. It looks like a battleship. That's not good, but he is putting shots on the destroyer, and that's a good thing. And this Visby is just turning nose first into the rock. We're looking for the shot on the Jaguar. We see this torpedoes coming in from the front. That means we've got at least 3 of 5 destroyers out here now, I think, and this is a very sticky wicket to be batting from, as we say in cricket. I don't actually play cricket, but there we go. Visby's back to port. Jaguar is burning. He's got himself stuck behind there. I am spotted. I'm looking around immediately, and for some reason, my targeting reticule won't target that guy. But we've got a Fushun, nasty guns on that Fushun, but I believe he only has deep water torpedoes. I may be wrong here, somebody correct me in the comments, but I'm sure there's a Mackinson, and the other destroyer is a Fubuki, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ships against 3 of us here, and the rest of our team still aren't able to do anything with ACAP. But we have got torpedoes running on that Mackinson. We now need to do something to try and save this battleship, which isn't going to happen because he gets all his torpedoes off. There's the Fusion. We've landed a torpedo on the Mackerson and get a flood on it, and so we're going to have to try and just fight this cap as hard as we can and hope that we can do something against these destroyers. But that rain of shells that came in there, that's from a California. Now that California is sat way, way at the back of the map as the Mackerson goes out for a flood. So that is 4 destroyers and 2 battleships on this side of the map. 6 ships out of 9. And we had 3 ships against them. And we're on 2 kills. I think the Fuso picked up at least 1. And we're just looking at what we can do here to go fishing for a dope in the smoke there with the Fusion, and at the same time we're going to try and get on guns with this Fubuki, and we're hoping that that Fusion will be baited into coming out of that smoke screen and hopefully towards some of those torpedoes. But the worry I have here is that California at the back is very much dialed in on me as well. And there we get him spotted momentarily. We've just had to damage control that rudder repair. There's the Fusion. No, the torpedoes are not good from me. So, lose our rudder again. Now we're on fire. We've got 29 seconds to cool down. We could turn back into that Fubuki because we do run the legendary perk which allows us to reduce our damage control party. But that Fubuki has 9 very fast torpedoes and the Fusion has some nasty guns. So going back into them is not the best decision at this moment in time. So we're going to try and stay at range on this Fubuki and do what we can with guns. Staying skinny to the California at the back. Fubuki's on fire. Come on, can we land a kill? There we go. That is kill number 3. So I was going to say we've successfully defended our start cap, but we haven't because the Fusion is still out there. He's still using that smoke, but he is blind now. The Matsuki did come across from towards Charlie to help us. I'll apologize for that beeping in the background. That's my 8 o'clock alarm to tell me to take my meds to keep myself sane, because you all know that I'm crazy as heck. But we have 3 destroyers left against a destroyer, a cruiser and a battleship. I think we have the advantage. But the Matsuki, instead of pressing home with me against this Fusion, has decided he's going to turn around and head in the opposite direction. When you consider I've got less than 4,000 hit points left, that's not a good situation to be in. But Twist and Track is moving, and I think the Fusion is going looking for that Fubuki because he knows that at least one of the ships is across there on Alpha Cap. There's the California coming in. He is still pretty much full health, and he's not in torpedo range yet. The Fusion is the guy we need to get rid of. I can see where the cruiser is. I'm safe from him, but I know that we need a capture point out because at the moment we're more than 200 points behind. And there's a way to go in this game yet. But the question is it possible to pull it back by caps alone? Because that Kirov can punch holes through myself and the other 2 destroyers. We don't want to be running into him. He will just slap us off the map. What we need to do is get rid of the guy who's going to do the spotting, which is the Fusion. We need to get back on to the capture points, and we want to hope that these other 2 guys in destroyers haven't got potatoes for brains. And that's a lot to ask for, isn't it? As Chid always says, you can't expect people to play the game the way that you expect them to play the game. And oh look, there's a Fusion. He's got himself spotted. Right, let's slow down. Let's set some guns up because we are going to use one of the German destroyers' little party tricks, because a lot of the German destroyers have very good sonar, and that means that where you've got somebody hiding in smoke, or if you want to hide in your smoke, you can give yourself a little bit of advance warning. Now this Fushun is going to do something that I do, and that is attempt to run down a destroyer in its smoke screen, because you automatically detect it at a minimum range of 2 kilometers, and you can increase that to 3 kilometers by using the right modules. But either he didn't get the memo on that one, and understand what sonar can do in that situation, but that felt like a very, very easy kill for me to finish that guy off. There's the Kirov, we've got the cap, and we are still, 250 points down. There's the California, we've lost one of the destroyers, and so I am going to push forward onto the next capture point, because the second I touch that, red team stop earning points. Kirov's out of range. We're going to put the torpedoes out there and hope we can land something on this California. And I'm thinking all that Matsuki has to do is to stay clear. You know, he can stay clear, he can torpedo. He doesn't need to get close to either of those two ships. He can use his stealth, concealment and torpedo range, and I can be the antagonist and just put the odd shot out and put my torpedoes out as well, and let those guys know where I am, so it takes their attention away from the Matsuki. We're both very low health. But there we go. We pick up a Confederate. We pick up a high caliber. That is 30% of the overall team damage against red team, and it is also at least 20% of the total hit points of at least 6 ships. So if you're thinking the damage score is low, yes, it may well be, but we had a lot of destroyers on our side of the map, and that is how easy it is to pick up a Confederate in a high caliber when you're fighting against a lot of destroyers. Now, one thing that left me shaking my head there was, for whatever reason, that Matsuki pushed in so close that the California's secondaries finished him off, which means he got himself spotted, and there was absolutely no need for that to happen. He had all the opportunity in the world to watch what the California was doing, to sail round, to reposition, and to just keep spamming torpedoes against that California and potentially pick up the kill. Because it would have been great to have had a destroyer on each flank of that California. That would have worked wonders and would have really limited his ability to turn in and out of cover and avoid all these torpedoes that I'm going to fire at him. So as I said, Blue Ferrora as a commander, she gives you, I think it's an additional 30% reduction on your torpedo reload time, but at that level you're getting a reduction of 40% torpedo damage. And where the torpedoes can come back very, very quickly, the guns on this thing aren't the greatest. I'm trying to hope I can get a fire on this thing. Obviously we're playing risky, so what I'm doing is watching where that guy's turrets are before I fire my guns. And although I was heading to the right side of the screen there, what I'm now going to do is move away from the California, and then I'm going to change position so that I'm on his left side, because he is going to have to turn his ship to be able to get his turrets to turn quicker. Now, I did get a couple of cap resets there. I'd like to get some more, but I can't risk shooting again at this guy. He's pushing in towards the corner of that island. His guns are trained on the corner of that island. And I see people do this a lot, where they pull in behind the island and then they back out, fire the torpedoes, and then pull back in behind the island. I think that's potentially what he was expecting me to do. So if you look at the kill tally, we're on 4. And a California is normally a large, slow-moving target. But I don't know what build this guy has got in it, because he seems to be turning very, very quick and very, very tight. And I'll give him his due. As quick as my torpedoes are reloaded and being fired at him, he is managing to avoid pretty much every single one of them. But you'll notice there that by playing those 2 capture points, that we have managed to pull it back from a 250 point deficit to, what are we on now? A 60 point lead. So all I've got to do is stay alive. He needs another capture point to start taking the advantage back from us, but there isn't sufficient time on the clock for him to do that. So as we run down through the last few seconds, his turrets are looking the other way. We're going to give him the final salute to let him know where we were. So we finish on 4 kills. I'm sad to have missed that French destroyer at the start, because that would have been a cracking. I was bitterly disappointed in myself after having such great gameplay at the start against all those destroyers to not to be able to sink a California. But 3,176 base XP, it was 89,000 damage with the 4 kills. I think we did our job there, because we could have gone out of the game very, very early with the pressure that was put on us on that right flank. So I hope you've enjoyed this one. If you haven't got the T61, I will say it is a very good destroyer, and do consider whether or not you've got the money in the bank and can afford it to pick it up and learn to play. Don't forget to smash the like, subscribe if you haven't, and until next time, take care. See you soon.